Again, a very good Wednesday evening to you. I'm Jerrad Anderson. Very excited for the remaining part of the show. We get the opportunity to chat a whole lot of college football with Phil Steele. Phil has joined me the last 7 or 8 years during the summer to break down the upcoming Wyoming Cowboys football season, Mountain West Conference, and the top 25 college football picture. Phil Steele, of course, writes Phil Steele's College Football Preview magazine. It is the thickest college football magazine you'll find on store shelves. That's because it has the most information and is the best. You can also grab more details on Phil Steele's College Football Preview at philsteele.com. Phil is on the phone with us now. Appreciate your time, as always. First of all, let's jump in to our local team, the Wyoming Cowboys. For University of Wyoming fans, Phil, it's been a disappointing few seasons. Do Pokes fans have a reason to be optimistic this year?
You know, I think there is. Let me give you an example. When I was writing the magazine and going through the team this year, I mean, they go from one of the least experienced teams in the country. They were number 126 on my experience chart. That's out of 128 teams. This year, they're number 39. I like the running game with Brian Hill, Sean Wick, and then, of course, they should get better quarterback play. Josh Allen probably would have been the starter last year, but got injured. The receiving core last year was inexperienced, now experienced. The offensive line's now a veteran group. Defensively, the back seven looks solid. The only question mark is up front on the defensive front, but of course last year they gave up 5.3 yards per game, or per carry, I should say. But when I was doing each team in 3 write-throughs. After the first write-through of Wyoming, I'm thinking bowl game. I'm thinking most improved list. Then I looked at the schedule. Now, the schedule threw me off a little bit because a lot of the home games are like Northern Illinois, Air Force, Boise State, Utah State, and San Diego State come against top-notch teams. So they've got to take care of business at home, where they've gone 9-9 in Bowles' tenure at home, because a lot of the winnable games are on the road this year. So the schedule kept me from putting them on the most improved list. But what I like about Wyoming is they're sort of taking that Stanford style. Everybody's gone to the spread. Wyoming's going to more of a power game. And defenses are recruiting to stop the spread. So when you do line up with tight ends and a fullback and a power run game, you have good success. So I think Wyoming's offense will be better than most expect, and by far the best offense they put on the field in the 3 years that Bowles been there.
You mentioned the tough schedule for Wyoming this year. They open up September 3rd, hosting Northern Illinois. We've seen Northern Illinois have really good success in the past. Are they expected to be that good of a team again this year?
Yeah, Northern's one of the top 3 contenders in the MAC West, along with Toledo and Western Michigan this year. They've got an experienced quarterback back in Drew Hare. Joel Boynois at running back is a guy that rushed for 1,285 yards last year. They've got Kenny Galladay, who had over 1,000 yards receiving, a veteran offensive line. And defensively, they got a guy in Sean Lurie, who actually made the first-team All-American list with 9 interceptions and 15 PBUs, 6 starters back on defense. So it is a loaded Northern Illinois team, one that benefits from bowl practices year in and year out, and probably one itching to get a bad taste in their mouth, or bad taste out of their mouth, as they finished off last season with a third-string quarterback getting waxed by Boise State 55-7.
Yeah, and speaking of Boise State, let's talk Mountain West for just a couple minutes. No surprise, I don't think, that most people's projected favorites in the Mountain West, either Boise State or San Diego State. Is that kind of what you're thinking as far as Mountain West contenders?
Yeah, that's where I have them this year. I have Boise State winning the Mountain Division, but when I look at Boise State, they've got Brett Rippon back at QB, and he, of course, was thrown into the fire last year. Jeremy McNichols at running back. They're probably, in my mind, they're the most talented team in the Mountain West, but I'll preface that by saying last year I thought they were the most talented team in the Mountain West, and they didn't even play in the Mountain West title game. But when you look at the talent and the schedule this year, there's a chance they could actually be favored in all of their games. The Air Force game, the biggest question. And with the Air Force, I think they are clearly Boise's biggest competition. Usually service academies return very few starters, but this Air Force squad has got 14 returning starters this year, which is a high amount for a service academy. Jacoby Owens back at running back after rushing for 1,000 yards, and they've got good talent throughout, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And then I think Utah State can sneak in there. Matt Wells doing a great job. On the other side, In the West, I do have San Diego State as my top team over there. They've got one of the best defenses in the country. In fact, I rate them the 14th best defense in the entire country. Offensively, they do have to bring in a new quarterback, but Donnell Pumphrey turned down a shot at going to the NFL, rushed for 1,653 yards last year. He's back. The top three receivers are back from last year. And the Aztecs do not play Boise State during the regular season. We may see two teams with great records at the end of the year meeting in the Mountain West title game. And I think San Diego State's a level or two above Nevada and San Jose. So I'm pretty comfortable with the pick of San Diego State, I should say, versus Boise State to be in that MAC title game.
Is Donnell Pumphrey the best player in the Mountain West Conference overall?
Yeah, as long as he stays healthy, and he's a guy that can hurt you in numerous ways. You know, despite his size, he can actually run the ball up the gut. He's 5'9", 180, breaks some tackles on the inside, of course has that explosive ability to the outside, can be a dangerous receiver as well. He had 416 yards receiving, so he really is a complete back.
Again, our guest tonight on Wyoming SportsLine, college football preview analyst Phil Steele, the best in the business. You can find Phil Steele's college football preview in magazines on store shelves now. And as I mentioned at the top of the interview, it is the thickest because it has the most information. It is by far the best. More details on Phil at philsteele.com. New information coming out every single day as far as college football previews. And you can follow him on Twitter at philsteele042. Phil, up against the break right here, but I want to talk top 25 college football. Get your thoughts right after this timeout.